The expansion of American industry, 1865 to 1900. Indoor electric lighting did not exist in 1865. Instead, the rising and the setting of the sun made sure people woke up and went to sleep. After dark, people lit candles or oil lamps if they could afford them. If not, they went to sleep and woke up at dawn with the first light. Summers were spent very hot. Ice was available in 1865, but only very expensive. People sought out frozen ponds during the winter. Blocks of ice were stored in sawdust and put in ice houses for later use. Communication was also very difficult. In 1860, most mail from the East Coast took 10 days to reach the Midwest and 3 weeks to get to the West. By the 1900s, daily life for Americans had changed dramatically. Gasoline, which would help a new form of transportation and machinery for years later. Electricity was also a big advance. Thanks to Thomas Edison, it's more widely available. Before railroads, most of the track was unconnected lines. But on May 10, 1869, the first transcontinental railroad was completed. The railroad had some dangers, but later improved. The steel rails were replaced with iron rails. The track gauges and signals became standardized. Communication became more easy when Samuel F. B. Morse invented the telegraph. It sent millions of messages over 112,000 miles of wire. Thanks to Alexander Graham Bell, communicating became even easier. In 1871, he created the telephone. Industries used whatever they needed necessary, fair or unfair, to gain competitive edge over their rivals. They paid as little as they could for materials, labor, and shipping. They also created monopolies and cartels to gain control. A monopoly was a business that bought out all of its competitors, and cartels were businesses that were making the same product, usually formed in secret. The Standard Oil Trust was in 1839. Rockefeller became rich from the grain and meat partnership during the Civil War. He had formed the Standard Oil Company of Ohio and had become a major industry. As Rockefeller's company sold more oil, he was able to trick his competitors. He persuaded his railroad friends to give him illegal refunds on part of the cost of transporting his oil. Because he paid less to ship oil than his competitors did, Standard Oil prices were lower. Thanks to his approach, the creation of one business from many smaller enterprises was called horizontal consolidation. This method involved bringing together many firms in the same business. Not only was there horizontal consolidation, but there was vertical consolidation, a method by which they gained control of all the phases of products development. Socialism began in the late 1800s. It was strongly influenced by a German philosopher who criticized the economic system. Most Americans disagreed with the social theory. They feared it threatened the right of people to compete freely and succeed to whatever they wanted. Most wealthy people also rejected it because they did not want to give up what they owned without a fight. George Pullman built a town for his workers near Chicago that boosted a school, bank, water, and gas systems and comfortable homes. The conditions in the town took a turn for the worse during the Depression in 1893. He laid off workers and cut wages 25 to 40%, but he kept rent and food prices in his town at the same levels. In 1894, many workers went to him to protest. His response was to fire the workers. When the American Railway Union called a strike, he refused and shut down the plant.